So I didn't really set you all up with a ground rule of what you had to use for this presentation. You can literally use anything that you want. And I left that open so you all can use whatever's comfortable for you. Me personally, I used Google Sites, and there's a reason for this. Not only have I used Google Sites before and I find it to be very intuitive, easy to set up, but also if you're going to be looking for a job pretty soon, or if you're going to be applying for colleges, Google Sites is a great way for you to set up a really quick resume. And you can even download it, have it for offline use, and put it on a tablet. That way, whenever you go into an interview, you can say, hey, look, this is my digital portfolio. Basically a free website. It's a free website building app. Also, if you decide to publish it, you can share it amongst anyone, and you can just go to share and share it publicly with anyone that you send the link to. So you don't even have to have an offline version. As long as you have internet, or you can tether it to your phone, something like that, then you can visit that website and show people your portfolio. Let's go ahead, get started with my presentation. That way you all can see an example of something like what I'm looking for. Now, something that I want to stress to you all before we get started is practice, practice, and practice. Anytime that you are going to be presenting something, you need to practice. Now, this is actually not my first time recording this. I've recorded this many times because I thought, hey, you know what? I've been teaching for years. I know all my lessons. Well, yes, but guess what? I've practiced my lessons for like 7+ years. This one's brand new to me, so I did need to actually practice before I present this to you. So just as a heads up, if you're going to be presenting stuff, which you are, practice it ahead of time. That way you know what you're going to say. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I actually have a timer over there that you can probably see in the bottom corner. I'm going to have that running so you all can see how long this presentation actually takes me. And I'm going to be trying to go through it fairly quickly because, believe it or not, 5 minutes might seem like a lot. It's actually not a whole lot of time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The career that I chose was porta potty creation. Now, the reason why I wanted to research this, I mean, I'll get to this more in a bit, but basically, whenever I'm giving a demo to you all, and it's something that I want you all to be unique with, then you're not allowed to use the demo that I used. So that's part of the reason why I researched it. But the main question is how this relates to art. Well, believe it or not, the creation of a porta potty, it does have a lot to do with art. In fact, you have moldings that you do. So you take plastic pellets, melt them down into a massive sheet, and then you shove that melted plastic into a mold that then creates the porta potty itself. And it's pretty much universally used by everyone. Like, the porta potty industry is available everywhere. Everyone in their life at some point will or has used a porta potty. They're available pretty much in every public area you can think of. Parks, schools, construction sites, even weddings and parties and things like that. The need for it is universal, and everyone needs it at some point. So why did I research this? Not only did I say that no one else could use this after I did this, but a lot of people don't understand that art is seen everywhere in pretty much every job type there is. And I wanted to open your all's ideas up to different possible avenues for artistic endeavors. I also wanted you to realize that some of the topics that you're going to be researching might not actually be as lucrative as you think, because this job, as I'm going to get into later, pretty much doesn't have an entry point whatsoever. So how do you make your product, and what's the process? As I've previously mentioned, you take plastic pellets, melt them down, and then you can take that and mold it into pretty much anything that you want. So the manufacturing steps are listed here. Plastic pellets get melted down. Already mentioned that. Then you add colors. So whatever colors you want to add to it, think of it kind of like food coloring. Add that to it. Then that plastic is sent through rollers to be made into sheets. After that, those sheets are then cut to specific lengths, and then they are placed inside of molds to create the different portions of the porta potty. After the smaller components are done and the larger components, then it gets sent to a CNC machine, which is basically a giant machine that runs AutoCAD or Google. Let's see, what are they called? I think it's Google SketchUp. I think that's it. Sketchfab. Anyway, it's basically one of those programs that you send through a machine and it will cut out smaller pieces. That way you can mold them onto the porta potty or attach them in some way like screws or bolts. Then after that, all those pieces are assembled together and it's ready to be shipped out. In modern times, the porta potties are actually more like RVs than they used to be. Like, they're really nice, believe it or not, compared to where they once were. And in fact, a lot of people don't understand how porta potties work. So I have a short video here that is a minute long that kind of steps you through the process of everything that goes into a porta potty. Now, I'm not going to watch this right now because that will cut down on my time. But as you all can see, we are already at 4 minutes. And yeah, that's a minute long video. So what kind of income can you be expecting? Well, on average, the porta potty industry is roughly $2.1 billion in the United States, and it's been staying consistently at that number for the past few years. And believe it or not, even though it's a billion-dollar industry, there's only 10 companies in the United States that make porta potties. One of them located in Kentucky and in fact in Lexington. So just, about an hour away from us. With the 10 companies, there's roughly 1,100 employees. So 1,100 employees total nationwide. And of those 1,100 employees, only 10 to 50 of them are employed at Kentucky. So if you can imagine $2.1 billion being spread over 1,000 people, that's a lot of money. Now, on average, for the factory in Kentucky, because obviously Kentucky pays less than California or New York, but on average, the employees in Kentucky, up in Lexington, start off at $65,000 a year to $75,000 a year. But we're just lowball it and call it $65,000. There are placements for advancements or opportunities for advancements, and on the website ThomasNet, which has a big collection of all kinds of salaries, it says that it can get upwards of 100,000 plus, with the average being 98,000 roughly in salary. And how much education do you need for this job? Basically nothing, because I actually know somebody, personally, my brother, who got a job there at this factory a long time ago and explained to me the, working environments and things like that. And he had no education whatsoever. He even dropped out of high school to start working there. And, he didn't last very long for other reasons. Basically, he was a very bad employee. But the point I was making, you can go straight out of high school without even a high school GED and get that job if you're able to. But that also leads the question, how much demand is there for this job? And sadly, there's not much. Even though the demand for the product is high, once you make a porta potty, it's pretty much there. They don't really get, broken because they're made to last for a very long time. So the jobs, there's very few of them available. However, because the demand for the job is low and the demand for the product is high, that means competition is also high for the job. A lot of people, once they get that job, they don't leave the job. The work conditions are not great because you have to deal with melted plastic, so it's always hot and it's not air conditioned, but it very well makes up for it for the fact that you are making a lot of money without any educational needs whatsoever. You also have benefits that companies offer, such as health plans and things like that. So it's a great industry to get into if you can get into, but those jobs don't come available very often. All right, thank you all. And do I have any questions about my career that I chose? And in case you were wondering, my sources are actually linked right up here. You click on sources and there's everything that I looked up. Now, even without me showing the video, that put my time at 8 minutes. So this presentation, 8 minutes. I put it together in literally 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to put together this whole presentation, and I knew virtually nothing about this entire topic. You all are going to have 3 weeks to research this, really about 2 weeks, because we're going to be spending the last week presenting. So you have approximately 2 weeks to look this up, maybe 10 hours or so of research and working together to complete this. And like I said, you can use any kind of presentation media that you want. I chose Google Sites for the reasons that I previously mentioned. Anyway, I hope this gives you a better idea of what I'm expecting and what you can do with this project. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions, let me know.